I'm Linda. Glad you could join me today. I just finished another painting, a mountain scene with glaciers, something that I haven't done in a very long time. I used palette knife and a little filbert brush, which is kind of different for me, especially for detail on the trees. So that was fun. And so anyway, I've got layers of mountain here, fog, some foliage, some nice green grass here with some rocks. So I think you're going to have fun with this one. I hope you can follow me, pause and paint. So let's get started. And here are the oils I used. I used liquid white for the base on the canvas, titanium white, black, phthalo blue, Van Dyke brown, sap green, cadmium yellow, orange, cad yellow deep hue, and red. And I prepared my canvas with liquid white all over the front of it. Very, very thin coat though, very thin. Now I'll be taking a shop rag or a paper towel and I'll wipe off the excess. And now I'm starting with phthalo blue, top right and left corners, just blending, making some nice clouds, going about halfway down, brushing back and forth. And so now I'm creating my mountain top with a fan brush this time, just etching in the edge, correcting, just making the way I want it, shaping the way I want this mountain to go. I usually use a palette knife, but this time I'm using a fan brush, which is okay. Just forming that mountain, adding, if I want it a little higher, I bring that little edge up higher, and I'm just going to fill it in. And just make it however you want. Just make sure the top edges are nice and sharp. I'm not going to go all the way over to the right. I'm not going to go all the way to the right. But I'm going to bring it about, I'll leave a space about 4 inches. And then just take a 1-inch brush and pull that black down. Just pull it down and make sure the top edge is nice and clean, nice and sharp. So now I'm putting some accent white on the top of the mountains, just shaping some of that snow and some of the water runoff, and just tapping with a little filbert, some white, just gently forming some angles all the way across there, and just create some snow effects in there. Just brushing gently and tapping. I'm making that ridge now, forming that ridge with a little white edge. Just gently tapping. Forming the little snow crevices in there. And I'm bringing down some maybe water runoff or snow And if you don't like it, if it's too much, take a shop towel and just put it over and run your finger over it. It'll take off the excess oil. But I'm taking a liner and just squiggling down a little bit like it's a water runoff. So now I'm going into the dark black with a little bit of brown, same as the background mountain color. I'm going to bring in a little hill off to the left, kind of angle downward. And stay below that foggy area there on that main mountain. Stay below that. And then I just brush some of that dark down with my 1 inch, pull it down, and I tap as I go. I take the excess off on a paper towel and then gently brush at the base to soften it up. Just bringing some of that paint down a little bit. Smoothing it out. X strokes down. Now I'm going to create another mountain on the other side, just below that foggy area. Just up and down. I'm going to meet that little mountain on the left. It's going to curve right into it. Want to make sure that top edge is nice and sharp. And then just pull down to meet that little mountain there. And I'm filling in, I'm bringing down some of that dark to meet that little smaller mountain on the left. I'm just pulling that extra paint off, leaving the top edge the way it is. Just pulling down. I'm making a little bigger side there. I'm just bringing in some more dark color under that second mountain. Pulling some of that color down. X strokes. Softening. So with that same dark color, I'm going to add another big mountain on the right, almost to the top, probably about an inch, three quarters of an inch down from the top. I have a filbert. I'm going to bring it down. Paying close attention to the edge. I want a nice sharp edge there. And I want it to go just, I don't want to cover up the nice foggy area there. I want to go right to the top mountain and then kind of angle down like a cliff. Come down. And bring it down at an angle. Right to the base of that mountain there. Bring it down a little farther. And that'll do it right there. And then from now on, I'm going to fill it in. Do little X strokes. Pull some of that black down, that dark color down. Might want to adjust the top of the mountain if you want. You want a different curve up there. Now it's the time to fix it. Just bring that black down, that dark color down. You could probably use a 1-inch now. And then you add some color and bring it right down, not quite to the bottom, but you'll see how far to go right there. Kind of angled a little bit. And just brush that color down. Now I'm smoothing out the edge there, the bottom of the mountain. I'm putting in some color in those back mountains with a little bit of sap green and yellow. I'm just tapping in with a little tiny little round brush, tapping in some treetops back there. Just tapping in. And on top of the green, I'm going to add a little bit more yellow and green. And after that, probably tap in just a little bit of the yellow, cad yellow deep hue, just a little bit to add some interest back there, some color. But that's what I'm doing. I'm tapping in some color, following the ridge, the back ridge there. You see a little foggy area, you don't want to go on that. Now I'm working on the top of the main mountain ridge, and I'm putting in some treetops up there. I'm just tapping in little groups of trees with the sap green and yellow, leaving little dark areas in there. Just tapping in. That's all it is. Working my way down, tapping in more. And leave an open area there. There's probably an extra ridge there, so just make sure you show that. Now I'm taking my fan brush and I'm creating some rocks, like rock formations, or you could say maybe a little waterfall back there. The hidden waterfall. There's a lot of rocks in there, so I'm rock formation on the face of that mountain there. So I'm pulling down with a light gray. It's white with a little bit touch of black. It's not totally white, but eventually you'll see that there's a lot of rock formations on that side of the mountain. But these are definitely look like little waterfall there. But now I am putting some rock formations in. I'm using the small end of my palette knife, which works really good. And after a bit, I'll show you, you can correct all that. You can make the rocks look really real with a little filbert brush. But I want to get these rocks in now first. Try and form your rock cliffs and whatever you want in there. Just pulling down gently. As you get up toward the top there, you can use the wide end of your palette knife and then just pull straight down. So now I am taking a little filbert and I'm just shaping those sides of those rocks, pulling some of that white down, taking out those sharp angles, making them look like cliffs. Going straight down. And with my palette knife, I'm taking a little bit of white with a touch of yellow, cad yellow, just a touch. And it's the sun is hitting there, the light is hitting that, and so there's a kind of a yellow reflection on the rocks. So now I'm taking a small filbert and I am in my sap green and yellow. I'm just dabbing little plant-like plants right on the top of those rocks, giving it a little life there. I'm taking a fan brush with a little bit of that dark color and pulling down the edge of that rock formation, just pulling down some of that color. Maybe you need to add a little on your brush, just pull down that shadow all the way, and the right side is quite dark. So you want that darker, and just pull it down. I'm adding a little bit of sap green. I'm adding a little bit of phthalo blue to put in that water, and just brushing that down, and then pulling across. Pulling that across. I'm going to add more blue, but the right side has got quite a bit of shadow there, so it's going to be dark. The front there, right corner. You can add a little bit of thinner if it's a little stiff, and then pull it across. You want some water, nice water there, and go all the way across. I tap my brush because I have a lot of dark pickup from that dark paint. I want to make sure the blue shows up there. The center is dark because of the shadow of the mountain. Adding more blue at the bottom. So now I'm adding a few pine trees in that back, right at the shoreline there. Some nice pine trees with sap green and a little bit of blue with my fan brush. Tapping in some nice trees in there all the way to the left side. Some are going to be a little taller, shorter. And I've got a little of that green, light green reflection pulling down in the water too. But I'm working on my back pine tree row there. Maybe a couple taller ones, and smaller ones. And I go all the way to the edge of the canvas with my pines. And now I'm taking some of that dark green color and I'm bringing in some land that's going to come out a little bit with a 1 inch. I'm just going to tap in some land. To about the center of the canvas. Maybe a little more. You can see the grassies and that you're making with the 1 inch. Leave those there, that's pretty nice. And then just tapping that whole area there with dark green. Okay, so now I'm going into some more black with a little bit of blue. I'm creating another rock mass right underneath that main cliff there. I'm going to bring a rock under there. And it's just going to follow along that edge there of the water. It's not going to go any farther. I've also taken some, maybe a little light gray and just created some subtle cliffs in there. Very subtle. So it's not a flat black or flat blue. It's going to have some texture in there. But the main, the rock that's coming out beneath there is going to be solid. And I will add some accents after I get to the shoreline there. I got a palette knife with a little bit of very light gray. And I'm pulling down some more rock formations like on the other side, only it's angled a little different. Right to the edge of the shore, pulling it down. I'm taking a little filbert and I'm just shaping those rocks a little bit. Just pulling some of that color and shaping those rocks. Right to the edge of the water. You can add a little more rock lines there. Now with my filbert, I'm adding a little foliage on top of those rocks. A little bit of sap green and yellow, like a little vine work that's coming off of those rocks, and putting them on top. So you can see the top of that rock area. Gives it some depth. Just tapping in some more yellow and green there. It's a dark area, so you want to keep it kind of dark. You don't want a lot of loud, vibrant colors over there because the sun is really not hitting there. But you want some subtle plants in there. I'm taking my round brush and I'm just pulling some of that shadow down off to an angle and then pulling straight across. So now I'm into my sap green with a touch of yellow again, and I'm putting in with a fan brush some treetops way on top of that ridge. And it's just a little fan brush, and I'm just tapping in from the little treetops up there. Way on top, little treetops. And so now I'm putting in some dark brown with black. I'm putting in some boulders, some big rocks on the bottom. Just putting in some rocks, kind of half moon shapes, wherever you want. And then I'm tipping them with a little bit of yellow ochre or yellow with a touch of brown. Just a little highlight on top of those rocks. You know, I almost see a finished painting here. I really love doing this one, and I hope you do too. So if you like this one and you want to see more, click the like. Follow me, share if you want. And so until next time, happy painting and God bless.